The Vancouver Canucks need to get harder to play against, and this July 1st, they might have the perfect opportunity to do just that. With the roster lacking size and bottom six physical presence, one name is starting to heat up in the rumor mill: 6'6", 232-pound center Michael McCarron. Today, we're breaking down why Elliotte Friedman has the Canucks linked to this heavy-hitting veteran, how he could fix their struggling penalty kill, and why he might be the most underrated target in free agency. So now that begs the question: is Michael McCarron the missing piece for the Canucks' rebuild? Let's dive right into it. So this is an article coming to us by our friends over at Canucks Army. In particular, this article is actually written by our friend and our buddy Tyson Cole, and he goes on to say as follows: in a recent episode of 32 Thoughts, the podcast, Sportsnet's Elliotte Friedman gave our two predictions. One, connecting the Canucks to Minnesota Wild center Michael McCarron. My second prediction is, I think I may have mentioned this before, Vancouver makes a big run at McCarron, Friedman said. But I think there will be more. He's been phenomenal. He's been fantastic. And I think he's the type of player that the Canucks will look at, but there will be others. While this isn't a report, this is simply purely speculation at this point, keep in mind McCarron is currently playing in the playoffs with the Minnesota Wild, despite the Wild being down 2-0 in the series. We thought we'd introduce McCarron to Canucks fans and see if that's a player they should be after if he makes it to July 1st and remains a unrestricted free agent, and if he doesn't re-sign with the Wild. We even don't know if the Wild are interested in re-signing him after the season. Perhaps this playoff run might change that. But who is exactly Michael McCarron? McCarron is a 31-year-old right-shot centerman from Grosse Pointe, Michigan, USA. He was drafted by the Montreal Canadiens in the first round, 25th overall of the 2013 NHL draft. Once joining the professional ranks in the 2015-2016 season, he split the following 3 seasons between the Canadiens and their AHL affiliate. McCarron would then play the next season and a half solely in the American League with the Laval Rockets before he was traded to the Nashville Predators organization in exchange for Laurent Dauphin. Apologies if I mispronounced his last name. It was more of the same for McCarron with the Predators, splitting the following 2 seasons between the NHL and the AHL. To this point of his career, McCarron had a career high of 7 goals and 14 points in the 2021-22 season, but then he made the full-time leap as an NHL regular in the 23-24 season, playing 70 games for the Predators and scoring 12 goals and 10 assists for 22 points, all of which still stand as career highs and totaling 100 penalty minutes. Canuck fans may recognize him from their first-round series against the Predators in the 2024 playoff run. McCarron played a depth shutdown role, spending most of his 5-on-5 minutes against the Pius Suter, JT Miller, and Brock Besser line. He did an admirable job defending that line, controlling just under 45% of the shot attempts, and was only on the ice for 2 of that line's 3 5-on-5 goals against. McCarron logged 9 hits and won 56.6% of his draws in that series alone. The next season, McCarron played a similar role, logging heavy defensive minutes while still registering 5 goals and 9 assists for 14 points and a whopping 102 penalty minutes. Now entering his contract year, McCarron remained the same defensive-minded physical player that carved him out an NHL role. Those efforts earned him serious recognition around the league, and the Wild acquired him for a 2028 second-round pick. This was viewed, of course, as a fairly steep price for McCarron's player type. However, it has worked out for the Minnesota Wild, averaging just 12 minutes and 40 minutes in the regular season. McCarron scored 3 goals and 2 assists for 5 points in 20 games with the Wild, 40 hits, and 20 penalty minutes. And this postseason, he has scored some big goals for the Minnesota Wild. He scored the go-ahead goal late in Game 3 against the Dallas Stars. He also scored the game-tying goal in a pivotal Game 5 win against the Dallas Stars as well. Safe to say, the Wild are very happy with their purchase. Defensively, McCarron was tasked with playing mostly against the Stars' third line, while analytically, their line was slightly outplayed and outchanced. Production-wise, McCarron came out ahead as he was on the ice for 4 5-on-5 goals for and only 2 against. It's been a journey for Michael McCarron. With all the hype and the pressure of being a first-round pick, McCarron struggled to live up to that expectation. But that didn't discourage him. He continued working on his craft, tweaked his style of play into something that would help him become an everyday NHLer, and is now heading into free agency where he will be heavily sought after because of his 6'6" frame. With all that in mind, the question does remain. Why would McCarron make sense for the Vancouver Canucks in particular? Heading into next season, the Canucks have only 2 true NHL centermen under contract, Elias Pettersson and Marco Rossi. Then there are a lot of question marks. Can Filipino stay healthy? Will they re-sign Teddy Bluger? Can Atu Ratu develop enough to become an NHL regular? Is Max Sasson better suited for the wing? Can Braden Coots make the jump up to the NHL? If they draft a center with their 3rd overall pick in the 2026 NHL draft, will he be in the mix? Regardless of the answers to these questions, McCarron brings something none of the players above do: size. As we mentioned, McCarron is listed at 6'6", 232 pounds. Ever since the Canucks traded Dakota Joshua and let Nikita Zadorov walk, they've been lacking a physical force in their lineup night in and night out. They kind of addressed it when they acquired Curtis Douglas, but as much as Canuck fans love the player, we aren't sure he's a full-time NHL player to this point. Plus, he is also a UFA. He could potentially lead the team in free agency. McCarron has proven he can be a steady bottom 6 defensive forward, contribute a tad offensively, and use his big frame for physicality. Not to mention, he stands up for his teammates. His 205 hits this season were the 19th most in the entire league, and he missed just 3 games this season. McCarron is also not afraid, as I just mentioned, to stand up for his teammates and drop the gloves. His 7 Fighting Majors rank has him in a tier for 10th league-wide in that category. On top of that, he's not afraid to go up against some of the toughest opponents in the league. He fought Logan Stanley twice, Ross Johnston, Tyler Tucker, Darnell Nurse, Corey Perry, and Mark Kastelik just this season alone. On top of his toughness and physicality, McCarron's defensive acumen would help the Canucks' penalty kill, which ranked dead last with a 71.5% last season. McCarron was a first over the boards penalty killer all season, averaging about 18th most shorthanded minutes, 2 minutes and 18 seconds per game among NHL forwards this season. Having a player who can instill fear into the opposition, stand up for the young players on the team, while also being able to shut other teams down offensively are all traits teams look for in a bottom 6 player. That will be someone the young players will look up to in the locker room as a guy who worked for his position in the league. Could he be a leader? Potentially. We can't comment too much on that. However, McCarron wore an A for the London Knights in his junior days, for 2 seasons in the AHL with the Laval Rocket and 1 season with the Milwaukee Admirals. Financially, there may not be a team willing to spend more to bring in a guy like McCarron, and as we all know, the salary cap is moving up. Or I should say is going up. Yes, all 32 teams are seeing a $9.5 million increase to their books, but would they be willing to overspend the way that the Canucks could? It all just comes down to whether or not McCarron's desire to win outweighs the money. Over his 9-year NHL career, McCarron has earned $9.76 million on his NHL contracts. and it's probably less considering all the time that he spent in the AHL, making that watered down salary. So with his value at the highest it has been in his career, he likely wants to take advantage of that and cash in to set him up for life after hockey. Another thing to consider is the past NHL trade deadline. Aside from size and physicality, he and Bluger have very similar roles, bottom six, defensively responsible centerman. However, Bluger could not garner the Canucks a return, while McCarron, because of his size, was able to net a second-round pick. The players Vancouver brings in, who aren't going to be a part of their future, need to have value on the trade market. Due to McCarron's size alone, he will always have value on the trade market. Say you sign McCarron to a higher than normal AAV, but a shorter term contract, they could sell him off in a few years for a return. For a team that's just starting its rebuild, signing players with the mindset of being able to flip them in the future is the exact type of profile Vancouver should be considering this offseason. Plain and simple, the Canucks need to target players who are going to make them harder to play against. Going out this summer, targeting a player with a 6'6", 230-plus pound frame who isn't afraid to throw the body or drop the gloves and can play those heavy defensive shutdown minutes would single-handedly make the Canucks harder to play against. Teams don't want to be viewed as an easy opponent when opposing teams come into town, and adding a guy like Michael McCarron would certainly help the Canucks shed that reputation they developed in the 25-26 season. So, if he becomes available on July 1st, McCarron should absolutely be a top target for the Vancouver Canucks to sign in free agency this summer. What do you guys think? I want you guys to let me know what do you guys think about this potential free agent target for the Vancouver Canucks. Do you like the idea of bringing in a guy like a Michael McCarron and signing him to a short-term deal with a higher AAV? Let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, I want to give a shout out and thank you to the sponsor of this video, none other than, of course, DraftKings Sportsbook, which is, of course, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. Bet player props, bet live from the opening faceoff to the final horn, where every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. Once again, that is code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
Once again, do you guys like the idea of the Canucks going out and targeting Michael McCarron in free agency? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, is there a name that you guys like that isn't a Michael McCarron? Let me know that name in the comment section down below as well. And also, let me know in the comments, do you guys miss the toughness that guys like Dakota Joshua and Nikita Zadorov, had while they were here, and that we lost when those particular players left? Well, you're probably going to absolutely love Michael McCarron. So once again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video and this breakdown, on your way out, you can like the video and subscribe to the Line Change for more Canucks and draft-related content. You can also become a member to receive exclusive perks and members-only videos. You also get early access for videos such as this one. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.